the minute I'm just out doing a bit of foraging, because I'm going to do some fire by friction for people, and just like which type of wood's to use for, or the way that I do it anyway. I'm self-taught at doing this sort of thing. I've been doing it a long time, and I'm just going to show people the way that I go about it at the boss. As I'm walking around, I'm just having a look at the ground as well, see what nice spring plants are out. Look down here, see all these white flowers. These are all wood sorrel. They've all got a nice white flower on them as well. This area last year, if I remember right, they were all yellow, but not this year. Just looking at a few of the trees here. Looks like there's a couple of hazel, seasoned hazel branches. So, pick that up. This is snapped off, that's not bad. It's quite straight as well. That would make a nice spindle. It's a little bit thin, but it's not too bad. On the floor here, it looks like there's a nice branch. It's probably been the trunk off the tree that branch came off. And it doesn't seem to be too rotten or anything. Let's have a look at this. It's not too punkish. I'm just going to cut into this and see what it's like. That's not too bad. That's slightly punkish in one or two parts, but that's actually, it's quite well seasoned, that. In the centre, that is. It's I'm just going to leave that lying, and I'll pick that up on the way back. Hopefully I'll find a couple of better spindles. I found this there as I was walking down there, and it seems a little bit on the thin side. It looks a little bit on the thin side, but it's nice and straight. I don't see why I won't get a spindle out of that. It's got a slight kink in it. The straighter the better, to be honest. And it's actually a little bit on the short side for your hand movement. But it's not too punkish inside. I'll just leave that lying there too. I'll pick it up on the way back. Oh, there's a birch come down here. There's been little bits of clearing up going on as well. So I've got some birch here, that'll come in handy. I'll get a lot of birch bark off that, so I'll get some nice birch tinder from there for doing the fire steel. And it also comes in handy as a tinder when you're doing the fire by friction as well. Get yourself some nice dust off it. Taking a closer look at this, we've got some polypores on there as well. Looks like they've already started to spore though. I have. See there? That's what they look like. I don't know if you can see that on the camera very well. I'll pull it back. You can see they've already started to spore, these ones. I already have birch bark in my fire lighting kit, but I'm going to collect some bigger pieces of this, some nice square pieces, so I can use it as a platform, basically just for scraping some dust onto and stuff, you know, and then get the fire steel onto it, and it gives us a nice platform, and then I can just tip it off onto anything which I need to get burning, like my tinders, that sort of thing. On a bit of a bloody steep hill. It's on a bit of a steep hill, but some nice square pieces like this is what I'm going to be collecting. Just 2 or 3 of them, you know, come in handy for a couple of lights. And collecting some of these longer strips as well, because there's something to scrape a nice dust off, you know. Or some very fine hairs of the actual outside bark. Put a fire steel on them and they're just like that, you know. Okay, that wasn't a shredding bark on the tree, by the way. It's just the actual bark itself. It's good and seasoned and it's nice and dry, and I've got a nice pouch full here right now, and I can take my scrapes and make some nice tinders out of that. and that'll help to get any small sticks going. The thing is about the bark, if your kit gets wet with the birch, it'll burn when it's wet. So say if you're out somewhere hiking, that sort of thing, or on a long journey, and you've got a bit of a river crossing and you fall in, say if it's knee deep and you fall in and your bag gets wet, well, when you get to your location, if you've got your birch bark and your fire steel, you know you're going to get some nice fire. So that's a good one to have. I've just found this. I've just found this. It's some dead holly in the tree there, in the holly bush, in the actual bush, and that's going to be perfect for getting some spindles. I get 2 spindles out of that. I get 2 good ones, maybe 3 if I clean this up along here. Should get 1, 2, 3. Yep, I'm going to clean this up. One, 2, 3. I will get 3 spindles out of this. Quite pleased with this. Hear that? That's just the sound you need. Nicely seasoned. Over the moon with that. I was along here yesterday. This is actually the second day. It's a bank holiday Monday. I've decided to come out, do a little bit more recording for this video. The footage from the beginning of the video was done yesterday, and that's the same spot where I collected the half for the holly, and I found that spindle, and I said I might find another one sometime. Well, I've just walked past the same spot, and that seasoned branch has come down somewhere. I should get a ember from it, no bother, but that was a nice find that. So now I've got 3 good spindles there to go with the holly half. I mean, they're going to last a good while, you know. Okay, just in an area here where there's a lot of fir trees. The thing is with fir trees, they're good for resin. I'm just going to try this one, take the stick out, see what the end of it's like. No, it's pretty dry. But if you look here, see how I have the resin coming out. And the resin, it tends to be a lot more runny than what you would get from a pine tree. So I'm just having a look at the trees to see if I can see where there's any resin running from the actual trees. If there is, I might be able to collect some. There is some coming out, but it's all kind of, oh, there's one here. You see this glistening liquid? This stuff here. If I touch it, see it? Yep. Well, what's happened here is the bark's actually been damaged. Something scraped against it. Probably a deer or something with its horns or something. But I can't see any deer prints or anything around here. But something scraped against it. And it has the resin running down the side. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take a couple of small sticks like this. I'm just going to roll it in the resin and then put it inside my tin. This here's my tin, which I put some tinders in. Inside of here I actually have some birch shavings in there, you can see it, from when the birch trees have been actually shedding. So what they do is every now and then they shed the skin, and it helps them shed parasites off and stuff like that. If a wood's infected, that sort of thing, and it's a way, it's like a defence mechanism, as far as I know. What I'm going to do now is, I'm just going to take this little branch off the bottom of here, give this a quick clean up. This probably was deer. If I look here, there's fur on here. Just start to roll the end of that in the resin like that. What I have there is a nice little fatwood stick. Right, just added that in here. You can see the sticks here. I've just got 3 or 4 in there, just to go with my fire lighting kit. That'll do for now, because basically once I've got a fire going, the flame, I can drop them sticks on and they'll just ignite straight away. Oh, and they'll burn nice and slow, and that gives us time to get a few bigger sticks on or some other tinder, get it burning. Got to say, if you like sorrel, wood sorrel, there's some lovely specimens of it up here in this wood. I wish I owned this wood, I'd bloody live in it. It's quite a big wood as well. Good thing about this one is it's quite quiet, so you don't get a lot of people coming here. It's open to the public actually. It's got laid out paths and stuff, but there's a lot of footpaths and stuff around that most people don't use, like this one that I'm on. Some people come so far and they don't bother following the rest of it. They tend to stop when it gets to about this this little hill climb here. But somebody here could have like sorted some steps in a few years ago. It's a lovely quiet wood. It's managed, but it's a lot of parts of it actually where I'm walking through here. If you look through here, a lot of the self-seeded stuff, a lot of parts of this and a bit further down, it hasn't been touched for centuries. Some of it, as far as I know, hasn't been touched for over 500 years, you know, so you can imagine just the sorts of plants that you'll get here in an ancient woodland like this, you know. Got some lesser celandine there, or carandine, however you want to pronounce it. Just there, people take these and they take the root. Some people cook the leaves like a vegetable. I'm not going to bother digging any root up or anything, but when you take the root up, you get like a little small white bulb on them. And it's like a starchy bulb, but you don't want to be eating it raw, you want to roast it, because it can have toxins in there. There's toxins there which can make your stomach feel a little bit sore. So gives you stomach cramps and stuff. There's some more wild violet. The plant wild violet, I've read reports on it where it has cancer healing qualities for like prostate cancer and stuff. There was a report I read a couple of years ago. There was a guy, I can't remember exactly when it was, I think it was around about the 50s, 54, 56, and he claimed to have cured himself of prostate cancer. So anyway, that prompted the medical profession to look into it, because this guy he had a lot of standing and like sort of social structure. So they looked into it, and the conclusion they came up with was that yes, it does have cancer healing qualities, but for it to actually work, you'd have to eat something like an acre of it. But that's the medical profession saying that. But we all know what the pharmacy industry is like, don't we? This area just here, around here, there was a couple of trees came down, this big oak. In fact, if you watch one of my earlier videos where I said I was going to do some video on some blue bugle that was here, I heard some creaking in the trees, and there was a couple of others came down like around the smaller trees, and when I heard this creaking I thought I better leave. And when I came down, there's a great big maple tree and an oak tree. It both come down. I was like, bloody hell, I'm pleased I buggered off, because I would have landed right on top of us. And I did actually hear some noise a bit further on. I didn't know whether it was the wind or whether something actually come down or what. So if I'd stayed in video, I'd set my camera up, because the video recording that I did was actually done on a tripod. I think I deleted that video actually, because I was calling it bugle herb, and I pronounced it wrong. It was bugle herb, because when I do research on a plant, it's like I'll take pictures of it, I'll look at it, I'll find it, or I'll keep it in my archives until I find information on that plant. When I'm looking for something else, usually I find information on another plant, and I say, oh, that's that plant, I've got pictures of that, let's have a look at it. And I read about it, and I do all my own research, and that way it stays in my memory a lot better, you know. I don't tend to go for the Latin names or anything, but this whole area here was covered in blue bugle. And basically I was a bit disappointed, because when the Forestry Commission, who own this woodland, when they come to clear them trees out the way off the footpath, they totally desecrated this whole bloody area with the machinery and stuff. They obviously bought a tractor up or something, and they just turned it into a swamp, and they totally destroyed the whole area. The Blue Bugle, you know. And the thing about Blue Bugle, if you Google it, have a look at it. It's one of them superfoods, one of them super plants. It's up there like with the plantain and dandelion when it comes to medicinal herbs, you know. It's really good for you. It's if I remember right, it actually helps with internal hemorrhaging and stuff like that, the same way as plantain does as well. But it can help with skin conditions, like healing, that sort of thing, you know. Just look it up. A long list there. Take a look at it. Blue Bugle. If I can find a picture of it, I'll put a picture of it on for you as well. Right, down here, see these trees, it's fallen. These small trees, they're small self-seeded ash, and they've came over. If you looked over there in the distance, you can see it's come up from the root. They're falling from the root, so they're going to die off. They look a bit green at the moment, like, I'll just step on that. Yeah, it's still very green, but in a couple of years' time, they're going to be seasoned, you know. See the way they're raised off the ground like that, across the ditch, the way the little hillside goes down. I know they're going to be seasoned in a couple of years' time. Nobody's going to touch them. We've got that nice thin one running down the middle there. Going to get some nice half and some nice spindles out of that for fire by fiction in a couple of years. So what you do is, when you're round and you go to areas, you know, local woodlands, just look at what's around you. Look at what's going to be useful in the future. It might not be useful right now, but it could come in handy in a couple of years' time. This area up here, where I'm pointing now, up there, you get a lot of birch polypore. I don't know if you can see in the distance, but in the distance there, there's actually lumps of chaga growing on the sides of the trees. You know, I've been waiting for that to grow for the last couple of years actually, and it looks like it's coming on well. I think in a couple of weeks' time I'll come down and take a look at that. It's a bit of a pity though, because when chaga hits a woodland like this, it just bloody knocks it up, like. So, but a lot of them birch will come down, they'll rot the chaga. In a few years' time they'll move on, and new birch will take their place, like, sort of thing, you know. But, I haven't been down here for quite a while. There's some there. That's what I was looking for, some wild garlic here. See it there? It's not flowering. I don't actually pick any of this, there's some down there as well. I don't actually pick any of this because basically, not here anyway. There's some there, nice batch there. I think that's some over there. There's some there. The reason why I don't pick it is because it's not. I think somebody might have transferred this here. I don't know, but it certainly wasn't me. But what's happened is it just seems to have started growing here a couple of years ago when I first noticed it. I think about 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. There was a little patch of it up there, and I just left it, and it's a really invasive species, like. So there's some here as well behind it. Nice little batch of it there. But I think somebody might have introduced it here, unless it's been dropped by birds or something and just took spout here. But it's the only patch I know that's in this woodland. It's just up this small area, and it is taking a hold. Sometimes it takes a long time for it to actually get a hold, but once it gets a hold, after a few years, boom, it's off. But to tell you the truth, where it is there, it would be better off down there next to that stream. It's a bit of a dry bed at the minute, but the ground down there is a lot more damp than what it is up here. And you find that the wild garlic does actually like a sort of moist, like wet, but like well draining sort of bankside sort of thing, you know. And it tends as well, I find it tends to thrive in a sort of like sandy soil as well, you know, like sort of semi-sandy soil. I've always found it seems to do better there. Right, we've got some golden saxifrage here. It's rather small. There's some opposite leaves there coming up. That's a good one for your salad. It's full of omega-3, I believe. Saxifrage. I'm getting all tongue-tied trying to say that. That's a good one for your salad, the old Saxy fridge. There's quite a bit of it down here actually. So if you're feeling a bit peckish one day and you're out for a walk, I'll take some pictures of this one because there's some quite large specimens here. Well, it's time to have a spot of lunch. It's in the middle of there. A little bit of mist or something. It's just the lens protector. Ernie's bench. Might be a little bit of a giveaway for where I am. I do like my pineapple chunks. Got myself a meal deal from the co-op, £3.50. I know what you're going to say, why didn't I pick me lunch? I like pineapple chunks. When people go out and do this sort of thing, you know, you don't have to go out on the day to find stuff that you need unless you really are in a survival situation. Excuse me. I mean, a lot of hunter-gatherers today live in South America and North America, plains of Africa, the Aboriginals of Australia. They collect firelighter kits to prepare themselves for when they're going to need to use them, you know. I mean, it's good to be able to go out and just pick what you need at the time, but a lot of these hunter-gatherers, they tend to carry a little firelighting kit with them, you know. It's a very important part of everyday survival, you know. So just like what I've done is I'm walking down the wood there, and I'm looking at things which I might be able to use in a couple of years' time. The kit that I have now, I mean, some of the woods I've got in there, I've had them for 3 or 4 years. The new ones I'm adding to them, as they're wearing down, they're going to last me another couple of years at least, depending on how much I use them. And then them woods which I was pointing out earlier, which are lying across the dike, they're going to be good. They may come in handy in a couple of years' time for it carries on for the next few years, you know. And just to be able to keep this skill up and show it to other people, sort of thing, you know, for people who want to learn. And it's just a way of keeping it going, you know. I love just sitting listening in the springtime, just listening to the birds, just listening to nature. You can't escape the noise of the aeroplanes though, you can't escape the noise of the traffic usually. But a woodland like this on my doorstep, I'm a lucky man. Yeah, what a lovely day to be alive. Just had a nice little view of a woodpecker doing its stuff. This is a beaten track for this woodland. It's like a big circle comes in from the gate down there, goes all the way around, and there's a bridle path goes up to the top, to the dilly line, but you get the more off the beaten track footpaths like this. So I'm going to take this one, see what's up here. I know it's been felled up this way. Got a massive dead oak tree here. There's another one standing there all covered in vine. That looks as though it's about ready to come down, to tell you the truth. It looks dead as a doornail. Won't like to be hit on the head by that. Yeah, you can see where they've been doing a bit of felling around here. all the way up there. I think there's another big tree come down. This is what happens when they do the felling. The natural shaded woodland, it opens up parts of the wood. Those trees that survive will carry on and have a long, fruitful life. There's Pepper up ahead. Always one step ahead of us. She loves the outdoors. But then again, which dog doesn't? If you have a dog, get it out. Fir trees around here. And there's giving off some nice sap there. Just there, you see it? I think I can see that just there with my fingers. Some red Scotch pine standing there next to a fir tree. Young oak tree. Nice mix of woodland around here. But all that there's all fir by the look of it. I'm not not expert on different types of tree, but I mean, looking at this tree here, these two here, there's no leaves, but I can tell you they're oak. I can identify oak trees by the bark in different stages of their life. A lot of the trees I identified where I collected my woods from. A lot of them down there, we only just started to bud, but I found when I was walking up to the trees and looking at them, I was thinking, oh, an oak tree. And it just occurred to us the other day, I was looking at these trees, I was oak tree, and I was thinking cherry tree, beech tree, hazel, and I was looking at the barks. I wasn't actually looking at the leaves or anything. And when I looked up, seeing the blossom on the cherry trees and stuff, you know, and like the young leaves coming out on the oaks and stuff, I was like, I'm right. And it's quite a comforting feeling to know that when you're out in the wild and you can look at plants and trees and identify them by different parts of the actual plant itself, either by the stem or the trunk or the leaf or the flower, you know, whether the flower in or not, whether we're in bloom or leaf or not, and you can identify them plants. That's when you realise that you're actually getting there, you know, that you're comfortable. I remember a couple of years ago I walked through this woodland and I looked at the plants and stuff, and I looked at everything around us, and I was thinking to myself, I know about 75-80% of everything in this wood, and it was the first time in my life I felt really part of it, like part of something, just knowing what was around us, even sounds I recognise, you know, starting to recognise bird sounds, you know. I'm starting to pick out the difference between, say, like a blackbird and say a finch, or something like a chiff-chaff, you know, something like that. You hear them sounds and you think, you know, you've got a good idea of what that is. Some of them sound very similar, but you think to yourself, I've got a good idea what that is. That's bloody great. You're becoming very aware of your environment and your surroundings all around you, you know. It's a blackbird. They chatter a lot, squeak a lot. I did actually see it fly up there before, but yeah, it's squawking. That's a magpie. Getting upset over something. Wings of a wood pigeon. know, in the middle of a wood at night. And here we am on the trail back home. Well, I hope you've enjoyed my video. Like I say, all the wild plants and stuff what I've talked about, don't take for granted what I say. You know, always do your own research if you're going to go about doing this sort of thing. Some foods, some wild foods, can be harmful if you don't know how to prepare them properly, and especially if you're on medication. Some wild foods can either amplify or neutralise that medication, so consult your doctor before you go about this sort of thing. And all I need to say now is the wind's getting up. This is Hiker's Hall of Survival. Until next time, stay safe. Don't forget to subscribe.